test that we do, yes, it's not considered a confirmatory test. So because of that, we send it to the health department. If you were to go to a doctor's office, for example, and do a PCR there or a Western blot at the doctor's office, then you would just need the one test. The one that we do, it's a rapid test. This is why you get the results immediately. You don't have to wait a few days to get the blood work done.
So what is the process once a person get tested? Then what do I do then? Do I call you guys and say, hey, I was,
No, you are told the results there
Okay.
immediately. You're tested. You wait for 15 minutes. The test is processed, and you're either told it's negative, you're okay, you're good to go, or it's positive. We have to take this to the Brevard Health Department, and then they send it to the state. And then they get the result, and they call us, and then we call you back, which is the importance of having an ID. We no longer test without an ID because of that. Previously, people had tested positive. We didn't have a way of contacting them.
That's important.
Yes, it is.
So you mentioned also that they're going to require a yearly exam, this testing along with the yearly exam?
They're not going to require it. From what I understand, some doctors' offices are already putting it in their room, but they're just going to consider it one of the normal tests. Like you would get your cholesterol done, you would get your blood work done to see, if you're anemic. One of the tests they're going to do is just to see if, they're going to do an HIV test. I think it's a brilliant idea to get more people informed. As far as because there are many people who have HIV who don't know it, so it's not as bad as it used to be, but there's still in our opinion, I guess there's too many people living with HIV who are not aware. The sooner you can get a grasp of the situation and take control of it and take control of your life, the better off you're going to be, and any partner you may have, because that's the thing too. If you have it and you don't know it, you spread it. And that's what we don't want. We want to avoid it. We have here in Florida, we have one of the highest incidences of HIV in the country. It's a lack of education. It's a lack of knowledge. And we offer free condoms. Condoms are very expensive. If you don't have a place, if you can't buy them, if you can't afford them, find a local place that gives you free condoms. Every place has them, whether it be a DCF office or our office. There's places where you can find condoms. There's places where you can take care of yourself, learn how to take care of yourself. That's the most important thing. Put a hat. Put a hat on.
Well, even with I know you have a lot of services that you offer, but you also provide not just resources where they can get medication and condoms and stuff like that, but you also provide food.
Our particular organization provides transportation for clients who don't need it. We offer a food pantry twice a month, and we have frozen food now that clients can also come get every other week. We have we're the pharmacy that does the free HIV testing in Cocoa. They help us out a lot getting clients who are newly established, getting them medication through patient assist programs. If you have insurance, he will deliver it to your house. Empire Pharmacy has been a blessing. They're just wonderful. And we provide we don't provide, but we find a dentist and we find an eye doctor for clients because the virus can wreak havoc on your eyes, and the medications sometimes are very hard on your mouth, on your gums.
That's awesome. I'm just like, well, you're giving some really good points, and I think the major thing that you're wanting to say is get tested.
Get tested.
It's important to just, even if we don't know, or even you do know, just to take care of yourself, because sometimes we don't take care of ourselves, period. And some people are afraid of doctors.
Right.
Or nurses, whatever the case may be, and they won't go no matter what. But you have shared some really, really, really good points. What would make you think a person would have HIV? What are the symptoms? Is there symptoms that you have?
There
or it
aren't
varies,
really.
or-
In the
Okay.
very beginning of infection, you have what is called flu-like symptoms for about 2 weeks. You have a generalized malaise, and you can have a fever and sweats. So you feel like you have the flu and you feel very ill. But there is really no way of a person saying, oh, that was an HIV infection versus I just got sick. So there isn't really any predetermined until you start getting sicker. Once you start getting sicker, then we do have different symptoms, and some of them include the AIDS diagnoses. And it's also important to state that there's a window period between infection. Right when you become infected, the viral load goes very, very high, and then it goes back down. This is called the window period. It's 6 weeks to 6 months that you may test negative. That spike may not have happened. So if you engage in what is considered risky behavior, you test negative, you might want to retest in 3 months, and then after that in 6 months, just to make sure. And some of the statistics that we were talking about the other day, and I think that it's very, very important. When you think that a black male that has sex with other men has a 50% chance of ending up with HIV. That's preventable. That's heartbreaking. The dialogue needs to be open. Condoms need to be used. The realization that as much as you can live with HIV and be healthy with HIV, but that it is still something that is going to be in the back of your head for the rest of your life. It does not go away. It doesn't go away. There's no cure for it right now. So as much as there's a stigma and people don't want to be tested, there's also somewhat of the belief of, I'll be all right even if I do get it. And you may be, but you're still going to have the side effects of the medications. You're still going to have moments where your CD4 count falls and you get sick and you end up hospitalized. So prevention is key.
And so how are you reaching out to do that in the community? How are you making it aware other than being on the radio? What else are you looking to?
Well, we just passed World AIDS Day. That is literally a worldwide event of educating and of letting people know this is still very real. The Pride festivals every year are a good source of information and a good source of letting people know that these organizations exist. At the same time, we don't really advertise ourselves so much because of the stigma of the HIV virus itself. We have clients sometimes who don't want to come in the front door. We have clients who rather knock on the back door because they don't want anyone to see them. And you wouldn't treat someone with cancer that way. This is not something that anybody asks for. This is not something that anybody wishes for. So it should be treated like any other disease.
That's right. You know, I'm just listening to you. I'm just caught up in what you're saying because it's just so important that it can't be prevented. And if it's not prevented, you can help. You can get the help, and you don't have to spread it.
Absolutely.
You don't have to go undetected, or if you know it, you know, some people know and they just.
Yes. And for the record, if you do infect someone with HIV knowingly, it's a 3rd-degree felony the first time. And the second time, it's a 1st-degree felony. And I do feel the need to tell people that because sometimes it's not even something that they consider. So it's an important fact to know, I think.
Yeah, that's good. What are some of the effects it has on the body?
HIV? Hopefully you get put on medication. So most of the effects that you're going to see might be the side effects of the meds, which are nausea, vomiting. There are some kidney issues, but there are eye problems that you can encounter with HIV. There are skin problems that you can have. There's types of cancers, lesions that can appear on the skin. Being immunosuppressed, you can catch colds and even rare colds. Those are what are called the opportunistic infections, because they're not things that are usually found in healthy individuals. It's individuals who have a lowered CD4 count or T cell count because they've been immunocompromised naturally. So you can get colds, pneumonias, end stage, very end stage, which is what we avoid with the medication, is you get very, very thin. You can have AIDS dementia, and that's how people used to pass away. They just would literally wither away.
So what is the normal count? I guess that's T cells. What is a normal count for a healthy person?
I don't have a lab slip in front of me, but I believe it's about 500 to 1,200 or 1,400, depending on the lab. Every lab has different values. That's about the normal. The CDC considers a CD4 count of less than 200 AIDS. But that can raise. It can change now. Back in the day, it didn't change. Once you went down there, it was downhill from there. Now that's not the case. Now that's when we say, hey, your meds aren't working. Hey, you're not being compliant. What's going on? What can we do to make you take your medications? Are you nauseated? Maybe you can take them at night. Maybe you can take them with food. How can we help you make yourself better?
Is there ever been a point where someone wasn't salvageable? They wasn't able, the medication wasn't able to do anything for them? Or
medically speaking, everything's possible. I honestly could not tell you because I don't know. So I don't want to give you false information. Things are different nowadays. So if you have proper care, and with the genotyping that we have available nowadays, because science is amazing, it's you could find the right medication, hopefully and ideally.
So how is the support important?
Sometimes when you are told that you have HIV and are now going to be living with it, a lot of people still go to that, oh my God, I'm going to die. The first thought they have. Many people can even become suicidal as a result. They have thoughts of how am I going to end myself, because if not, this disease is going to end me. They hopefully find, whether it be in family members or spiritual support in a friend or in their church, that a lot of our clients find a lot of support in their churches. They're told that, number one, we got you. We have your back. We'll take care of you. We'll help you, both physically and emotionally. That's very important. Mm-hmm. But most clients, I think, need to be told, you're going to be okay. You're going to be okay, and your care is in your hands, which I think for most able-bodied, able-minded people, that's important. It gives them power. There's also, since I mentioned the able-minded, there is an association with mental health and substance abuse and getting HIV. That is a huge issue, in my opinion, especially living in Florida. We do not have the mental health services we had in the 90s. And a lot of these people are falling through the cracks. And they don't get the mental health they need, which is a service we provide at our organization. I'm sorry if I've been a little bit all over the place. We provide mental health as well. We have a wonderful group of doctors in Cocoa who see our clients, and that is essential. It's absolutely essential, because if you have a person who is a schizophrenic or who is bipolar, they can't take care of themselves. They engage in risky behavior. And that is very important. So to have a group of doctors, family or friends, and a case manager that always has your back, that's always thinking of you, that helps you help yourself.
So I think that is also important to know that we have to ask for help and to seek help, because
as humans, that's a very difficult thing, right? A lot of us don't like asking for help. It makes us feel weak. But that's what we're here for. We're here to help each other. That is the only reason we're here, is to help each other. So never be afraid to ask for help in this realm.
So along with the services that you offer, I see that, could you explain what Camp Heartland is? I know that there is various services that you get involved in, and you kind of bring the patients or your clients some relief to be able